Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel. Wishing you a happy and healthy start to this nice Sunday morning over here from Helsinki, Finland. A lot to be speaking about today, as I wanted to follow up from the weekly closures for CME and how that kind of influences things for the next couple weeks to come, and then the major plan coming into maybe even end of September here. So without further ado, I think that we can just jump into it right here. I wanted to start it off first with the chart that we haven't actually checked in on for a couple of weeks. However, it is still very much relevant. Just it's a weekly chart, so it doesn't really update all that often. So I don't really feel the need to be updating it, every day. For example, nothing changes essentially. Anyways, what essentially is this chart? Well, it is the weekly stochastic momentum oscillator for CME specifically. And what we're looking at right here is anytime we have seen this get down to extreme lows, which I define as anytime the weekly stochastic momentum has gotten down to this green horizontal bar that my cursor is currently hovering around, well, there has been an average bounce of about 56.5% done over the course of just under 45 days. And 5 out of the 6 prior historical signals, which represents all the historical signals for CME, by the way, have worked out in that fashion. One did fail. So as always, we're talking about statistics, not certainties, but in general, pretty damn good thus far, at least for the history that we do have. The reason why this is relevant, yet again, is because CME has once again closed above the momentum pivot, thus suggesting that, we probably still see a little bit more upside from here. 19,730 was the number to beat on Friday, and that number was obviously surpassed. Of course, spot price action, follows through as well today, and the momentum pivot is $19,000. Different analysis there, and I do put a lot more weight on CME in general. So ultimately, if we play around with the numbers here, realizing that, again, the days till the next high, about 45 days, keeping in mind, where would that essentially put us around? Well, if we take it from when the signal was given, 57 days, which is, kind of bang on that average, I would say, puts us into the first week of September. Or sorry, that would be a little more on the upper end of that schedule. 42 days puts us at the third to last week of August. That'd be next week. 49 puts the last week of August, and then of course, the 6th of September would be 57 days. So, probably looking somewhere within that region. Of course, we can also analyze the average bounce as well, 56.5%. And if we were to add that to our current low, well, 56 or so percent puts Bitcoin basically around $29,000. Now, I'm not saying that Bitcoin is going to go directly to $29,000 from here. I'm just saying that if we go off the averages, that would be relevant. Of course, there's going to be some variance in this. Some are going to be higher, some are going to be lower. It could be like 32, it could be 26, something like that. And it would still be within the context of the data. To put this into perspective, if Bitcoin were to go to 26,000, that would still be $26,500. That would still be, a 40+% move. These are big. And for example, the last move that we did see based off the same signal was basically 42%, by the way. So, that is within the context of what we have seen historically speaking. Anyways, that really does coincide with a lot of the other signals that we've been looking at, of which we won't go over all of them today. I want to make this video more digestible because there are a few big things that I want to address. So on to the next chart over here. This is the advanced stochastic analysis, where we look at the volatility of stochastic momentum, which is represented by this metric that my cursor is currently hovering over, this one right here. And then, of course, the stochastic momentum oscillator is this baby right here, which you're already familiar with. And in this case, anytime that we have seen this get down to extreme lows, which are defined as basically, these low levels here on volatility, as you can see, several of them in the past year have been marked off. Well, the expansion phase from those extreme lows combined with the stochastic momentum direction has accounted for an average move of about just under 29%, done over the course of about just over 10 days. And the stochastic momentum oscillator has gone the correct direction on that expansion just under 89% of the time. And it looks like, it's working yet again right here. So we did get a full-on signal fired off. This was coming into, early last week, 9th to 10th of August, of course. And so as long as Bitcoin on CME remains above the daily stochastic momentum pivot on a closing basis, which is 23,100 right now, and that number will update coming into tomorrow. So there's no way to know it as of the current moment in time, but we will know it tomorrow, or we'll actually know it tonight when CME opens up again, but I'm not going to record a video around there. But in this case right here, the probability still remain to the upside, still favor the upside continuation. Now, here's the thing. Applying these sort of averages, what can we come up with? Well, we can come up with a few things. Average days from the signal given to the next sort of precipice on price action, well, that would be about 10 days. So what would 10 days be from the actual signal given? That would put you third week, fourth week of August, actually, on average. The average move, just under 29% from when the signal was given. Again, that would put Bitcoin where? Basically at about, as much as $29,000. Keeping in mind there's going to be some variance there. I think that is rather interesting, however, because that is the last major gapple that we did see in June from the breakdown from 30,000 to our current lows about 18 and a half or so. And then what else? And then yes, we do see that the 786 and the 618 Fibonacci retracement kind of, outline the general areas of interest to the upside if Bitcoin does get continuation. So that would be about 26,500, a little bit less than that to be fair. And then the 786 is just under $29,000, as you can see right there. So here's the thing: when we're thinking about this in terms of time and also potential of where Bitcoin might even get. The thing is that we're probably looking, more around like early September, maybe even middle of September. And here's the thing. Ethereum has been leading this market for a while now. It's been leading this market, fundamentally speaking, because it has the good old the merger coming up. And what typically happens during these events is there will be a run up into the event. And then as the event occurs, maybe a little bit before the event, typically get a sell-off as people, like the expectation was made. It's like, what else do you have to do? Just take your fucking profits, right? Don't get greedy. Well, here's the thing. Oh, and Bitcoin's rallying up a little bit more. Is it time to trade? Is it time to, I don't know. No, I don't have shit to do right there. It's a damn Sunday after all. It's time to rest. Anyways, what I do want to get into next is something a little bit new that I have not spoken about yet on this channel. And that is an analysis of past Septembers for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency by extension. So not only do we have that fundamental event, which again, those typically are sell the sort of event type of things. In this case, we do see, or we can observe throughout the full history of Bitcoin here, going all the way back to the genesis, that in general, September is not a good month for Bitcoin. So out of the 11 or so Septembers, actually there's 12, but the first one doesn't really count because like literally nothing happened basically. But out of the last 11 Septembers that we have observed in Bitcoin, 8 of them have been major downside moves. It doesn't mean that they held their downside move. Could have been a pullback within the context of a major bull market, which we see plenty of times, but they were pretty nasty pullbacks nonetheless. So that is 73% of past Septembers have been, down essentially, or at least closed down. The average downside move has been about 26.69%. So if you were around last year, you probably remember this one over here, September 2021, where Bitcoin first initially made a new high on that run towards $53,000 and then immediately dumped $10,000 and created a pretty nasty bear trap actually, before continuing on to our current all-time high. And of course, we have several other examples other than that, which I won't bore you with, but ultimately, this is what I'm interested in over here. If the average down is about 26.5% or so, we can start to come up with some areas of interest, assuming that Bitcoin continues from here first, obviously keeping in mind that, you can't really apply that until obviously like August ends, but let's say just for funsies, if you will, some funsies, the fuck is that? Funsies. Sorry. Let's say that Bitcoin did get up to like $29,000. Okay, so I'm making a big assumption right here. Big fucking assumption. Okay, it's a Sunday. There's nothing else better to do. All right, big assumption day. Let's say it gets up to 29,000 first, and then in September dumps off to the fucking hells. And well, where would that average downside move put us around? 26.5% puts Bitcoin where? About $21,000. That would be quite interesting now, wouldn't it? Because, or I think it'd be quite interesting, because that would actually still put Bitcoin on a higher low. And I do think that is still best case scenario for Boo Laws, is that, Bitcoin comes down a little bit later this year, somewhere reasonably close to the current lows, about $20,000, and then puts in a higher low there on a higher time frame, like a weekly, something like this. Let me just kind of like trace this one out, like boom, oh no, fuck, oh no, and everyone gets super bearish right here, and then a bit of a higher low, and then upwards and onwards yet again. That I think is still best case scenario for Bitcoin Boo Laws, like best case scenario. Well, obviously best case scenario is that Bitcoin does something like this, but that's probably extremely unlikely to happen. So yeah, again, I'm not saying that that's exactly what's going to happen, but I would say that that's probably best case scenario, at least in my opinion. All right, sweet. So what else can we get into right here as I run through the old rigmarole? Well, now that we're on this chart, let's actually go through the lower term timeframes, because why not? Again, it is a rather, slow day. 4 hour right now. Well, this would have been a lot more useful if I actually recorded this video earlier, but hidden bullish divergence. Yes, we already got that. Low BBWP, so expanding from there. Is this going to be the breakout move? Very likely could be. If we go over here and reference the stochastic momentum on the short term timeframes, you will notice, or you'll very likely notice, that 4 hour stochastic momentum remains the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 24,500. So that is actually right. If I put on my, hey, where did my, oh, here we go. There's my drawing tools. That's basically our current, our current lows for that time frame. So basically that is to say that as long as Bitcoin holds this low, momentum remains the upside on basically all time frames. And we might get some busting action actually today. There might be a little bit of bust, might be a little bit of a bust. So ultimately, what would confirm an actual breakout right here? I mean, realistically, I'm looking at higher term timeframes, so I wouldn't really be using anything less than a daily. Personally speaking, anything above 24.5 is good enough to me, to be honest with you. I do think, based off statistics, that Bitcoin's a lot more likely to move to the upside, with areas of interest, again, 26.5 and 29 maybe later. And then, well, we'll see how things kind of evolve from there. But I think that'll do it for today's video. I will maybe do an update later on Instagram. I've actually been doing kind of like AMA type things. Sounds a lot more to self-aggrandizing, but what I mean is, it's like, how we did the pre-stream chats before. It's kind of like that, just have a little bit of a chat. If you happen to give a fuck on Instagram, there is a link in the description below. Of course, it's all free as well. It's just like, if you want to hang out, it's all good. We talk trading there as well, of course. And then, of course, I should also mention that Bybit is still offering 50% off of their options trading fees if you use the link in the description below, like very specifically that link, actually. So I've been uploading a Bybit focused, options playlist recently. So if you're looking to get into that would be a nice and easy way to start. It's all here on YouTube for free. So cool, or hopefully cool. I'll be signing off on that note. Want to wish you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.